You need your baby on a sleep schedule. You need your baby to be breastfed. You need your baby to drink formula. You need your baby to not sleep in your bed because, man, that's so unsafe. Have you heard these things? If you're pregnant or you just had your first child, I'm sure that you are bombarded with advice like this, and you're probably confused about, hey, what actually is right? Well, I'm going to tell you today, I made a lot of mistakes with my first son as far as listening to too many voices. So I'm going to tell you my top 3 mistakes to avoid with your first baby. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Danielle. If you're new here, I make a lot of mom content here on YouTube, vlogs, tips for mom exercise, tips for being a work from home mom, really anything mom related, I'm going to be talking about on my channel. So if you like that type of content, please subscribe, ring the bell, and like this video. Also, check out some of the video playlists I have on my channel if you want to binge some content about mom stuff. Especially if you're a first time mom, it is helpful to, watch some of those tip videos. I did a lot of that with my first son. Well, I thought I would just bring you in today while I was folding laundry. I'm trying to multitask since I've had a busy work week and I just didn't have time to do laundry. So let's just fold some laundry and talk about the 3 mistakes I made with my first baby. James, if you're watching this in the future, I'm sure you turned out okay. These mistakes weren't that big. So just as a little disclaimer here, these are mistakes that I made that really made my life harder. In general, they didn't affect my son whatsoever. Besides, I guess in some little ways they probably did, just as far as like his sleep and things like that. But in the long run, these things will not affect him at all. So these are things that I just made harder on myself because I did them. So number 1, I did not have my son on a sleep schedule. I did a lot of reading and a lot of watching videos that said when they're young, just let them sleep and eat whenever they want and they'll be fine, they'll just figure it out in the end. So I did that at first. I was a parent who didn't have any sleep schedules. I let my son stay up with me however late he wanted. I also just didn't care about nap time. Like, he would nap, but he would just sleep on the couch with us. And I'd be like, okay, that's fine, as long as he's asleep, right? He's getting his sleep in. Well, in the long run, I wish I would have established a better sleep schedule, because what happened is at about 6 months, I was ready to move him into his own room. And I was like, man, I'm just done with waking up and having to feeding him in the night. Like, we need to get something figured out here so that I can get some sleep. Well, he didn't want to sleep in his own room, so I drug it out even longer. And I was pregnant already at 7 months with my other son. So once I found out I was pregnant, I said, okay, it's time to just really hone in on this. We got to get this fixed. Well, I had him start sleeping in his own room. We did the cry it out method. I know not everyone agrees with that, but it was torture for at least a few days. It was really, really bad. Then it got okay, where he just couldn't sleep. He'd cry, wake up in the middle of the night, cry, had to go in there, comfort him, put him down. It was torturous, really, it was torturous. What I'm trying to say here is, if you're with your first child, you just had your baby, you're pregnant, whatever stage you're at, think about sleep schedules. Now, maybe not in the first month, since they are newborns, they're going to just sleep a lot and all the time. But as they start to get less newborn, having to sleep and eat, every hour, it seems like they're doing one or the other. Make sure you start to establish a sleep schedule and let them take naps in their own room. That's one big thing with us, is we should have been having him sleep in his crib really from, like, I would say 1 month on. His nap should have been in his room, in his crib, or in our room, in his bassinet that he had in there. I did that with my second son and things went so smooth. He also, maybe, all babies are different, but he started sleeping through the night after 1 month, and I don't know if it had to do with us establishing that sleep schedule or if it was just him, but I definitely think that just having some sort of sleep schedule, a place where they know that they need to sleep, definitely helps. I saw leaps and bounds difference with our first son to our second, and I think sleep schedules really had to do with that. So my second big failure that I did with my first really happened before I had him. I went and collected too much advice from coworkers, family members, friends about what I should do with my baby. And I mean, this had to do with, should I be a stay-at-home mom? Should I be a work-from-home mom? Should I just go back to my normal job? And also had to do with sleep schedules, what you should feed your babies. I heard so much about oh, you gotta feed your baby formula, or you gotta feed your baby breast milk. It's the way to go. Blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, okay, well, now I'm confused because I was planning on breastfeeding. I breastfed both of my sons. Still, I'm nursing my second son, trying to wean him off of that. But, you know, I chose that mainly because it was easiest for me and I like doing it. Did it really matter which one I chose? Maybe in the long run. I mean, nursing your babies, there are a lot of benefits to that, but I think that a fed baby is better than nothing. The other advice that just drained me leading up to birth, and then also after I had my son, was what type of birth are you going to have? Are you going to have a natural birth, a C-section? Oh, are you going to do unmedicated, medicated? And I just remember saying, like, to myself, like, oh, I'm going to be completely natural, like, I'm going to make this happen. And I was so, like, determined to do that. But you know what? The freaking way that you have your child, it doesn't matter. It is so stupid that people focus so much on that. I mean, I don't take strong stances like this on most things because people can have their own opinions, but it is just dumb to focus on, oh yeah, I had a natural birth with no medication and that's the only way to go. Well, no, that's not true, because there's a lot of people who have to have medication. You have to have a C-section to have your baby, or your baby is not going to be born. You know, it's not going to survive. So does it really matter how your baby is born? Not at all. But I let it bother me up until having my baby. I had a epidural with both of my sons. First one, I waited so long. I was so stressed out. My water broke to start labor, and I was in so much pain, and I was screaming, and I was really just not relaxing, so I was not dilating. As soon as I got the epidural, it was within 1 hour I had my baby. So everything that you hear about epidurals are going to slow your birth, epidurals are not the way to go, don't listen to that stuff. Do whatever's right for you. If you can have a completely unmedicated birth, you're really, vying for that really works for you, totally do it. But does it really matter if you have to get medicine? Don't get down on yourself, because we have it for a reason. We live in a modern world where you can make things a lot easier on yourself, so why not do it? And again, like I said, this is totally up to you, but just don't let that get on you. And, don't be me, who was all like a little bit sad at first that I couldn't do it myself. But after a few days, I was like, I got my son. What does it really matter? And that's just how I think now. As soon as I got admitted into the hospital with my second baby, it was epidural right away. I was only 2.5 centimeters dilated, and I said, yeah, I'm going to relax and do this. Got that in within a half an hour laying in bed, and I had a really, really good birth and super quick push. Both my sons, under 10 minutes to get them out. So epidurals don't slow that either. So keep that in mind. Don't let that bother you. But that was, again, advice that someone fed me, where they're like, you have to do it this way. This is the only way to go. And I'm just like, come on, don't be telling me what way to go, because I've never had a baby, so I had to listen to all these other people about what to do. And honestly, the advice just wasn't great all the time. In fact, a lot of the times the advice wasn't great. So yeah, don't worry about what your mom did, your grandma did, your friend did, your neighbor did. You're going to find stuff that works for you in every element of birth, raising your kids. It's all up to what's going to work for your family and who you are, because I know that I raise my kids a lot differently than I see anyone else raise their kids, and they're raising their kids differently than I do it or anyone else they see, because we're all just making it work. We're all moms just trying to figure out this world and make things work for our life. So don't have any guilt if you don't follow the exact advice of someone that you think, oh, I have to be like them, because it doesn't work that way. So now this leads me into my last mistake that I made, and it was watching too many mommy vloggers, which is funny because I'm here talking to you as a mommy vlogger, but I would like to say that I'm not the perfect mommy vlogger whatsoever. Watching the perfect mommy vloggers really got me to have super high expectations about, oh, this is when my son's gonna walk, talk, crawl. Oh yeah, and this is what he needs to wear and how my house needs to look. And even though I never let that stuff super get internalized in me, there was always that thing in the back of my head, especially when it came to stages of where my son was at what age, that I was just like, well, this person's daughter's talking right now. Why is my son only saying 1 or 2 words and they're saying full sentences? Every child develops at a different rate, and as long as you are within normal, you don't have to worry about it. There's a lot of kids who have speech delays, especially due to COVID. They weren't around people, so they weren't hearing people talk. First children tend to not learn how to speak as quick as their siblings because they don't have anyone speaking at that level all the time, doing their more, baby talk like your siblings would do. So with my first son, he wasn't speech delayed, but he just wasn't speaking that many words. By the time he was 18 months, he had like 20 words. Well, I was seeing people who were having kids speak full sentences online. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, does he need speech therapy? Went in of a pediatrician. She said, you know, we'll review it at 2 years. If he's not, you know, stringing good words together at that point, we'll go into speech therapy. Well, by the time he hit 20 months, he already was putting 2-3 words together, you know, making semi-sentences. So did I really need to worry about it? No. But because I was watching all of these mommy vloggers who apparently just have the perfect life, you know, obviously no one does, but they put it out online that they do, I was just shocked about, oh, my son is not online with everyone else. So yeah, don't let that get to you. It's not worth it. The worry is definitely not worth it in life, since everyone is different. Everyone you run into the street as a child, adult, baby, no one is the same. So those stages, they have to matter as far as if they're super far behind in development. Yes, you want to have an intervention in case there is something else going on that they need some extra help in some area. If it's just a mild, my child's not like this child at this point, you know, check yourself and just make sure, do they need to be at that point? Like, what is the average for a child right now? Is that child just exceptional in that area? And I had to do that quite a bit. My husband reined me in so many times saying like, hey, slow down there, you know, he'll be fine. And you know what? In the end, yes, he was fine. So those are my 3 big mistakes that I made as a first-time mom. A lot of it has to do with listening to too many voices, which I think we do too much, especially in this online world that we live in. There are too many people feeding us information, and we don't need to listen to them all. Be yourself. Forget what everyone else says. There is going to be good advice out there, so, you know, take your nuggets where you need to, but no one's going to have all the answers except for you, because you're going to figure them out along the way, and you're going to be a great mom, and you're going to have the best kids, and you are just going to enjoy life because you're going to be so good at being a mother. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I've picked out a couple other videos here that I think that you will enjoy. Bye. I'll see you in the next one.